Good afternoon and welcome to this week's show. It's been a cruel, cruel summer, but we have had some hot fun and oh, those summer nights. But don't worry, we've made it this far, and at least for the next 30 minutes, the living is easy. This is UCaaS Connection. Thanks as always for joining us. I'm your host, Larry Brantley, and in case we've broken any copyright laws with the show opener, I'm someone else entirely. Now, we're covering a lot of ground today. We'll redefine IT solutions, explore the myths behind unified communications, and navigate the tricky landscape of digital transformation. And that's just the ground level. From there, we're going to revisit an exciting event that we've highlighted before with our friends from Telarus. Race to the Summit Season 1 comes to an end this week, and we'll help launch Season 2 right here on UCaaS Connection. Another big show with some great guests, and I am ready to get this thing rolling. Opkalla is on a mission to reimagine IT solutions and the way they are employed. Take a look.
Opkalla was created to change the way the IT sales process works today. Our mission is to provide an unbiased and transparent IT solution for our customers, and we want to help you solve a problem instead of push a product and do what is best for your organization. Ultimately, our goal is to save you time and money and help simplify the IT buying process.
The Trusted IT Advisor is committed to helping organizations save time, reduce cost, and identify the right IT solutions for their business. What more could you want? Well, here to tell us not only how they deliver what they want, but everything we need is Aaron Bock, Managing Partner for Opkalla. Aaron, welcome to UCaaS Connection.
Thanks for having me, Larry. I'm excited to be here today.
Now, tell us how Opkalla is helping customers and maybe a little bit more about your mission.
Yeah, happy to, Larry. Really what Opkalla is we're a trusted advisor, like you said. At the end of the day, we really want our customers to find the right solution. There's so many options out there with IT evolving. We're going to talk about digital transformation later, and it's easy to get lost with the different solutions out there. So we try to be a resource and really a speaking point for our customers instead of the vendors, which in the traditional model has been an issue and it causes bias. So really 4 things we're trying to do with our mission: speed, consistency, transparency, and trust with our customers.
Now, when you meet with customers or prospects, how do those UCaaS conversations typically start?
It depends on where the customer is in the life cycle, but typically with UCaaS, what we're seeing today is that it's being driven by an event or a renewal. So we're seeing renewals such as a SmartNet renewal with Cisco or a network renewal with their equipment, potentially a SIP or PRI renewal, maybe there's been a change in leadership at the organization. So we're seeing some type of event, merger, change in leaders, a renewal, or there's been a huge shift in the way that they've done business. And I think we can all appreciate that in 2020 with COVID. We've all had to move home, and now we're all trying to figure out how we work from home, Larry. And so I think, those are typically the 3 things that kind of start the conversation. But it could be, within the size of the organization we're working with, it could be, someone's done it in the past, or it could be we've never looked at this before. And so it's the whole spectrum of where you're at in that conversation, the roadmap.
Now, what are some of the myths surrounding UCaaS, and where have you seen hesitancy to move in this direction?
It all depends again, and I hate to use that answer, but it really does. But I will say that when we start the conversation with our customers, some of the myths that we hear right off the bat are it's more expensive and it's costly. And I think I think we're going to get into that later today. But it really, we're finding out unless it's a super size organization, it's really not. We're seeing that the costs are even, if not less in most cases. The other one that we see a lot is oh, well, I'm not going to go to a UCaaS solution. It's got poor quality and we'll never be able to run our phone over that. Well, I think when you look back at UCaaS over the last 10 years, if you look at it when it started 10 years ago, maybe that was the case because it was over internet speeds were lower, the bandwidth wasn't as high, there wasn't as much dedicated fiber in the ground, there wasn't redundancy. But now, and we're going to talk about that on the SD-WAN show, but now you can create a pretty bulletproof network. And so a UCaaS solution from a quality perspective should be even to, if not far beyond what an analog line was before. And so I think that myth we debunk, but it takes a little bit of feel and touch to say, okay, well, let me try this out. And when we see the calls happening, the customers say, oh, actually, yeah, this is better quality than I'm getting today.
Well, that kind of leads into my next question, Aaron. So in your experience, what are some of the prevalent factors that will help change someone's mindset from that on-prem PBX to UCaaS?
It's a great question, Larry. I think there's a couple things. So one is, I think when we start the conversation with our customers, it generally starts around basic phone functionality. This is what we need. This is what we require. Dial tone is the most important thing. But when we start getting into the conversation around other features, oh, well, let's talk about chat. Let's talk about your contact center. Let's talk about some of the other things that are now kind of default with the UCaaS providers. It becomes one of those sort of light bulb moments for the customer to say, oh, yeah, why am I doing all this separately? Or why am I trying to put together a bunch of pieces when I can go to a single provider that has all of that in one? So that's one thing that we see kind of tip the scales. The other thing is, for years we've had to manage phone systems where, people are PowerShelling in phone systems. People are having to manage SIP, PRI, et cetera. With the new UCaaS systems, a lot of that goes away. And you don't have separate solutions, like I mentioned, for faxing. You don't have separate solutions. You don't need to worry about the ISP bringing in SIP, et cetera. So all of it becomes in one system. And so I think a customer looks at it and says, wow, this would really make my life a lot easier. And so let's explore this. And that's really when we can get those two light bulbs to go off that, hey, this isn't more costly. The quality is going to be as good, and it's going to save me a lot of time and effort. That's when the conversation really, I think, starts, and we really start to go through, okay, now what is the right fit for you from a UCaaS vendor perspective?
Let's shift topics here just a little bit. Now, we've heard a lot, seen a lot. We've even featured this on our show several times. Microsoft Teams has exploded, now exceeding 75 million active users. How has Opkalla seen this affect the UCaaS space and its vendors?
Larry, I saw a thing the other day on LinkedIn. It said, what's driving your digital transformation? And it said, is your CIO, your CEO, or is it COVID? COVID is the answer right now in 2020. And I think what people are finding is that we've got to be able to work from home. So, we work with 100-person medical clinics to 1,000-person manufacturers, and they're all dealing with the same challenge. How do we work from home? How do we communicate? How do we have meetings? And so Microsoft Teams, being that license-based product that a lot of us are using for email, has exploded, like you said. And so what we're seeing is that your UCaaS providers who have been in this space for a long time, many of them are creating integrations with Teams, and that becomes now your most important integration because your users are now, instead of sitting at their desk, they're sitting at home or in a small office or remote office that they weren't before, and they're trying to figure out, well, how do I work with this person that's 3 hours from me or across town from me on broadband internet connections? And so Teams has been able to enable that, but now the UCaaS providers with the phone has to latch on. And so what we're seeing is now in the conversation, it starts with, well, I want to do the phone system because we're working from home, but we're using Teams and we really like Microsoft Teams, so we want something to integrate with that.
This has been a great conversation, Aaron. Now, before I let you go, let's tease an upcoming episode on the SD-WAN show. It's going to be right here on this network on September the 10th. You are hosting. It's going to be your panel and your topics, so let's set the stage.
A typical wide area network often includes a mix of private circuits like MPLS and point-to-points, as well as public internet circuits like fiber, copper, and cable, all spread across wide geographical locations. With cloud-based services becoming more popular, bandwidth requirements have exponentially increased. But each data packet is still routed without any consideration of other networks. This means that dozens of connections might lie dormant, while another is weighed down with traffic. The solution to this inefficiency is software-defined wide area network. SD-WAN is an intelligent solution that efficiently manages all network connections and policies as a whole, reducing costs and harnessing all available bandwidth. Picture your entire network as superhighways in the metropolis of their enterprise. If one highway suffers from congestion, SD-WAN is the navigation that automatically routes data to a faster highway with less traffic. Even if one highway goes offline, traffic will still be securely routed to its destination, replacing need for VPNs. SD-WAN can also prioritize critical applications like voice for best customer experience. SD-WAN harnesses the total throughput of all networks with minimal management and maximum data reporting. You can swap or supplement existing networks for inexpensive public connections, optimizing performance and cost. Once configured, deploying additional branches is quick and dynamic.
And we are just now wrapping up our conversation with Aaron Bock from Opkalla, who will be our host for the September 10th episode of the SD-WAN show. Aaron, what should we expect?
It's going to be a lot of fun, Larry. We're a couple weeks away here, so we still have we're still locking down the hosts. But I'm the host, but we're still locking down the panel, if you will. But we're going to have a lot to talk about because when you look at UCaaS and we kind of expand on, well, how are you going to UCaaS? SD-WAN is always in the picture, and so there's a lot of complexities in the network. So we're going to be talking about how, why, and how customers are really anticipating that journey.
Well, Aaron, it's been a real pleasure talking with you. My new friend Aaron Bock, managing partner with Opkalla. Thank you, my friend, for your time, for your insights, and we look forward to seeing you again on September 10th for the SD-WAN show. You take care, sir.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
Now, my next guest needs very little introduction. He's the trusted advisor for a leading trusted advisor, an advocate of the cloud, contact center specialist, cybersecurity expert, building better business solutions, and legend has it, the original sharp-dressed man. From our friends at Telarus, our very good friend Jamie DeWitt. Jamie, welcome to UCaaS Connection.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
We are doing well here as well. Now, we want to cover several topics with you today, Jamie, including an update on Race to the Summit. So let's help get everyone some firm footing before we start this climb. Now, everything right now is all about transformation. The way we work, where we work, how we connect, not only to one another, but to our information. Digital transformation seems to be one of those prevalent buzzwords that everyone uses without fully understanding it. So can you give us some context to that term?
Yes, absolutely. Our Race to the Summit has been something that has really changed for us. When we started the Race to the Summit, the first Race to the Summit, I really give credit to Stephanie and Amy of our marketing team who really started to help us pivot, as they say in Friends, to more of a virtual events to help us away from our Nashville event that we had. And then that grows into our digital transformation that we've really concentrated on this year.
Now, it's one thing to understand digital transformation and embrace the need for it, but that first step is often the hardest. How do we start that movement?
Absolutely. So as a partner of Telarus, one thing that our partners are taking advantage of during this time is our business development team. We have verticals that we specialize in. We have a great strategy EVP of our strategy, Roger Blom, who is amazing at helping us build these teams for contact center, whether it be network or cybersecurity. But essentially, it starts with the network, right? Before I was in this industry, people started out and they were selling circuits or they were circuit slingers, right? Now, during this time, people are going back and they're going to their customers with the help through Telarus and our business development team and saying, hey, let's optimize your network And while we're doing that and we're making you have a better, more efficient network, let's talk about your cloud strategy. And let's bring in Kobe Phillips, who's our VP of BizDev for cloud, and let's strategize on how we can help you be the most efficient with that. And then it goes all the way to bringing in the man, the myth, and the legend, Brandon Knight, from our VP and business development for cloud contact center, CCaaS. He's amazing. He's been a mentor of mine. When I got into contact center, I really looked up to him, and to have him on our side with helping with that digital transformation of our partners has been really a really big asset for our partners. And once again, during this crazy time that we've been, and it's very easy for our partners to have these conversations and start the resource knowledge that they have, and then bring them in with their customers.
Well, I appreciate the sort of trail you blazed for us in telling us who, at what point, and when. But let me ask you this: how would a partner know when to engage the business development team on their opportunities?
That's a great question. I appreciate you asking it. The first place they would start would be their senior partner development manager and that region team. So I'm a senior partner development manager, and we're across all the country. We would be your first conversation, and then we would get you in touch with the business development team. The best thing about how we are and we run our business here at Telarus is we're going to be adaptable to the partner. So if the partner builds a relationship with our cybersecurity mastermind, the VP of cybersecurity, Dominic Singer, then that's fine. They can reach out to him, have a conversation with him, and there's no toes that are stepped on or anything that's bothersome for us here. Internally, we want to be adaptable for the partners when they're learning about how they can utilize business development. Some partners take our business development team onto calls with their end customers. Some partners don't want their end customers to know that we have a business development team they're working with, and they want to talk to us on the back end and strategize with us. However they feel comfortable, that's what we want to do to make them and build their business portfolio as much as we can.
Okay. Let's talk high-level leadership for just a minute. When a business is embarking upon a digital transformation process, what role does executive leadership play in successful navigation?
It plays it a lot. I think at the end of the day, you want to have as many people that are knowledgeable about that solution on deck. And if we have those resources, we're going to make sure we do that for you. When you're dealing with larger opportunities, which we've seen ourselves get in on with our partners, there are going to be sometimes boards or executive teams or possibly different avenues that we have to, and hurdles we have to get through with the customer or with the partner with the customer. But we will definitely work through that and adapt for them as well.
Jamie, an operational change to any degree typically has a ripple effect on each department within the organization. So how would you advise any business as they integrate change across multiple teams and multiple disciplines?
I would say, the best way to look at it is to take a step back and to see where you're the most efficient and where you can become more efficient, right? Especially during this time with a work from home model, a lot of these companies have now realized they have the availability, the features and the functionalities already on a platform that they paid for to use those, whether it's video or audio. So maximizing their technology they already have, but then also making sure that they're efficient in the other places to make sure that their return on investment is the most that it can be at the end of the day.
Let's say I'm a partner. What can I expect from Telarus in terms of support?
Well, that's a very broad, great question. I will say, being a partner of any master agency, you're going to have somebody that takes your back, right, and that supports you. I have great mentors across this region that I've worked with from other masters, and they've built relationships with great companies in this region in the U.S. I think at the end of the day, what we do at Telarus is we want to make sure that we are showing our value and showing you as a partner the resources that you have available to you at all times. And sometimes it takes a while to build that relationship. but we know that this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. At the end of the day, we have a lot of things that we're all working towards, and that's being more efficient in the workplace, helping people, maximize their return on investment. So I think just in general, partnering with a master agent as a partner is very beneficial as a whole. Here at Telarus, I know that the reason why I became a part of this team is that there is support for you in every single way that you turn. And whether you're a one-man shop or you're a 50-man shop, you've got an army behind you that's willing to support you and do anything you can to help you succeed.
That was a great response. Now, we've talked to Amy Bailey. We've talked to Scott Forbush. Now we've had the opportunity to talk to you. We've heard quite a lot from the Telarus team on this show. So this is your chance, Jamie DeWitt. Tell us, in your own words, what makes Telarus different?
What makes us different is the people. We have some tremendous leadership from where it starts with Adam and Patrick and Richard, who, I've been very blessed to be around them the last, 4 years in this industry, and what amazing leaders they are to work for. And then it trickles down to Mr. Bourbon Brother, Scott Forbush. And, I think that as you look at every department, there are so many great people. Paula McKinnon and Carrie Atwood and our supplier management team do so much. Stephanie Call and Amy Bailey with our marketing team having to pivot all the way, to make sure that this Race to the Summit really was successful, since we weren't able to have our partner summit. Every single way that you look at our teams, people want to help you. And I think that at the end of the day, if you're a partner and you become a partner of us, that's what we prove to you, is that we are going to be here to help you grow your business in whichever way possible. Well
said, my friend. Okay, we've talked about digital transformation. You've helped us raise our game with the Telarus Support Services. So let's take it all the way to the top, and let's talk about what's happening this week with Race to the Summit and what's on the horizon. Give us your words.
I keep popping it up. I keep talking about it because I think it's so amazing what the team has done to be able to work for this. But we have, in the first Race to the Summit Part 1, we were able to give away a Tesla for a 3-year lease or $25,000, and that's going to be announced at our awards on Thursday, as well as that's on Wednesday, I apologize, with Adam. But then an amazing thing we're going to do is we're going to have this Race to the Summit Part 2. So make sure you're registered with that. We've got some big things planned. We're going to make the live events work. We're going to make sure that we have everything set up for you. It's kind of like a amazing race, right? You're going to add points. It's going to be a good, different time. Our partners have had great feedback for us. So we're excited to have the second round. On Wednesday, we're going to have Adam, who is always such an amazing time. He's listening to him speak. He's going to be giving us our end of the year recap, as well as we'll be giving the Tesla giveaway for season 1. And then Thursday at 1, we're going to have our keynote speaker, who is the founder of Wine to Water. His name is Doc Henley, and that's followed by our awards ceremony. And the Wine to Water thing is a nonprofit organization. It's very cool. They're wanting to provide clean water to those in need around the world. And as somebody in my former career doing mission trips and seeing that in the countries some of the countries they support, and then seeing other countries like Ethiopia and South Africa and India that they're trying to help, I think it's just a great cause. And I've looked up and heard from Doc, and I'm excited to hear about that on Thursday at 1 p.m. Central as well.
Outstanding. So let's just recap. Season 2 begins Thursday. There'll be viewing parties all over the U.S., safely regulated, of course. That was a much harder word than I thought it would be. Now, you mentioned, hang on here. You mentioned this morning that maybe we would be honored with the big reveal on the show. Are we still going to have that opportunity to do that?
Oh, I was told that that's not going to happen. That's above my pay grade, man. I was trying to. I thought I would be able to. They haven't found out yet. But
anyone who's as dressed as smartly as you, I think, ought to be able to give us that information, man. Come on. Come on.
Well, I knew I would tell you. I definitely would.
Well, I tell you what, I don't want it to be anybody else. When it's time, it's got to be you, my friend. It's got to be you. We will have it. Jamie DeWitt, master of all things. trusted advisor. Thank you so much for joining us today, my friend. Really appreciate you. Want to remind everyone again one more time about Season 2 of Race to the Summit. You do not want to miss it. Thanks again, Jamie. You have got the coolest background of anyone I've ever interviewed on this show, and I'm coming for your vinyl, man.
Oh, you're so awesome. I appreciate you guys having me. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much.
If you would like to be a featured guest on UCaaS Connection, let us know. We are here to help you tell your story. Visit us at ucaasbeat.com or through our UCaaS Connection social media pages. You can request an interview, submit stories, updates, big wins, or anything else that's newsworthy by emailing us at featureus@ucaasbeat.com. These are your stories, and this is your show.
This has been a fun show, you guys. Technical difficulties aside, I want to thank our guest, Aaron Bock from Opkalla, and the always dapper, always delightful Jamie DeWitt from Telarus. Now, we are going to be back next week with a great story of collaboration, partnership, shared success as the teams from Better World Technology and Star to Star join the show. So, as always, until then, stay safe, keep your distance, but always, no matter what, stay connected.